Hello, this is Dr. Victoria Terry with Health and Harmony. I am a traditional naturopath, and today's subject is brain-gut-liver connection. I absolutely love the human body. However, the brain, gut, and liver triangulation is my absolute favorite subject to speak about. Now, before I get started, I want to just make it clear that anything that you hear in this presentation is for information only. It is not meant to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease or illness. Okay, so like I said, I love the human body. I'm going to attempt to be brief, yet hit the main points without getting too scientific and off course. It's my belief that without a healthy gut, the rest of the body cannot function properly. Did you hear that? It cannot function properly, no matter what you do. And the number one question that I'm asked consistently is, how long will it take before I see results? And the professional that I am, I simply lean in and say, I don't know. You see, each one of us is fearfully and wonderfully made. It's like a fingerprint. We have our own body chemistry. We have our own immune system response. And it really just depends on how quickly and really what's going on. The chemistry begins in the gut, plain and simple. The health response is also individual. So I really don't know how long it will take for you to see results. Our bodies are designed to heal themselves, but we need to feed the body the right constituents, the right foods, the right water, the right air. They'll give it the right tools in order for it to do the job that our Creator designed it to do. How many times have you said to yourself, or have you heard somebody say, I have this gut feeling? That might seem like just an expression. However, it is truer than you think. Our gut actually does have a brain. It isn't the same as the brain in our head. It can't balance a checkbook and it cannot compose a love song. But its main role is controlling digestion. From the swallowing to the releasing of enzymes that break down food to the control of blood flow that helps with nutrient absorption all the way to the elimination. We call it the ENS, or the enteric nervous system. All enteric means is that it pertains to the intestines. Well, this nervous system contains of two thin layers of more than 100 million nerve cells that line our gastrointestinal tract from the esophagus to the rectum. So from the in to the out. Digestive problems. I think that is one of the most common health issues today is digestive. There are a variety of symptoms that come along with it, such as bloating or gas, acid reflux, pain, nausea, and vomiting. And there's more, but those are the main problems that you might find or you might experience. You see, the gut biome or the microbiome inside the gut contains trillions of bacteria. There are a variety of bacteria that have a multitude of jobs as well as functions, and they might be something like reducing serious health risk, heart disease, mental illness, brain health such as dementia, cancer, and others. So there's a lot that bacteria has to do to keep us healthy. Well, the digestive juices consist of enzymes, proteins, and acids. These juices are strong enough to actually dissolve a razor blade. The digestive process breaks down any organic substance in order to ingest vital, life-giving nutrients. And this is where pH of the gut will determine the absorption of these nutrients. If the pH is on target, the body is capable. It doesn't mean that it can or is able to absorb, but it's capable of at that particular pH. There are other things that have to take place before the body can actually absorb. Now, the digestive system is crucial for a healthy life. It feeds the body's nutrients and life energy. Anything left over in the digestive process should be dumped daily. I said should be dumped daily. That doesn't always happen. Colorectal cancers are on the rise today, and one of the reasons is because the garbage that's left over from the digestive system is not being removed from the body as it should. So it stays there, ferments, and starts to cause gas off or cause health problems. Now, you've heard the old cliche, we are what we eat. Well, that's truer than you think. What we eat has a huge impact in our overall health and wellness. And one of those areas is at our cellular level. And this is where it affects aging process. So the poor cellular health equals accelerated aging. Now, I'm not talking about just on the outside how many wrinkles you have, but I'm talking about aging from the inside out. The other thing that it takes is a lot of energy. So when we're burning a lot of excess energy, we are accelerating aging process. So with that in mind, I want to talk about gastritis, because gastritis is inflammation of the GI tract. This is the most common health issue today. Symptoms might include things like stabbing or radiating pain, or bloat, nausea, vomiting, gassiness. And if these things are left unattended, it can result in different types of ulcers, as well as something as severe as stomach cancer. One of the most chronic conditions that causes burning and damage to the esophagus is something called Gerd. And Gerd actually has several health risks, but some of those might be obesity, overeating, or someone who has food or medication sensitivities. You can actually begin to have those type of health risks take place. There are people out there that take antacids regularly. I'm not talking about taking an antacid here or there to kind of calm down your stomach, but there are many people who are prescribed scripts from the doctor to take care of their acid reflux. But those who take it regularly, all you're doing is reducing or suppressing your symptoms. You're not looking at or taking care of or addressing the root cause. So you stop taking the medication, the problem continues to, it exists. It continues to get worse and worse all the time. One of those things that can take place is irritable bowel. Irritable bowel syndrome affects about 12% of the American population, believe it or not. It causes a constipation, diarrhea issue. You can have and or when it comes to irritable bowel. Anytime you eat, you may have some cramping issues in the gut, and you have to run to the bathroom because you've got diarrhea and everything comes out that way, or it's just constant chronic constipation. Believe it or not, the Western medicine actually believes that there is an association to irritable bowel syndrome and emotional upsets. Other associations might be food intolerances, hormone changes, infections, and just overall gut biome imbalances. Now, the more serious autoimmune issue would be irritable bowel disease, or IBD. This, like IBS, is an inflammation in the GI tract, and it can cause permanent damage. One of the well-known IBDs is Crohn's, and about 1.6 million Americans have been diagnosed with Crohn's disease before the age of 35. That's pretty early in life. Western medicine has no idea what really causes Crohn's. However, it's my belief and my experience that it's a possibility. It's a result of the foods we eat, our lifestyle, the stresses we live with, the type of foods we eat. We're eating fast foods, restaurant foods, foods that are pre-prepared, pre-packaged. They're dead foods. We're not eating enough fresh, real, live foods. So it's my belief that that's where it starts. According to most medical doctors, Crohn's is not curable. But however, it is manageable, okay? But again, because of my belief and the fact that I believe that it is a gut-lifestyle relationship, I believe it can be non-existent. I also believe that it can disappear. I'm not saying that it's curable by any means, not at all. I'm not a medical doctor. I do not diagnose. I'm not going to make any claims that it can be cured. But I can say that it is disappearable. That's just on my, with my experience with Crohn's. I do not experience it myself. I have clients that do. I could go on and on with all of this, And there's so much more to talk about. However, I think you get the idea just how important that the gut health is to having a vibrant quality of life. Now, I want to move briefly into the gut-brain connection because this is where it really gets interesting. And according to the research from Johns Hopkins Medical Center, there's a connection between the ENS and the CNS. The CNS is central nervous system, which helps explain the effectiveness of many digestive bowel disorders and the effectiveness of treatment through some antidepressants and mind-body therapies. Now, I'm not saying that antidepressants is the answer. I'm just saying that this research shows that there is a connection. Many gastroenterologists, they actually write prescriptions for antidepressants for IBS to their patients. It's not because they think that the problem is in the patient's head, but that these meds actually calm the symptoms by acting on nerve cells in the gut. So because of who I am and what I believe each one of you would agree with me that there are herbs that are most likely more effective to calm the nerves than any medication with its side effects. So here's where I believe that, again, food, lifestyle, all of that takes place. Now I want to move a little further into the mental and emotional health, because according to research in the Clinic and Practice Journal, mental and emotional health has been connected to the gut biome. As a matter of fact, the imbalances in the gut biome can create severe emotional imbalances, and this makes it difficult to live a normal life for many people. Issues such as anxiety and depressive disorders, a hypersensitivity to stress, intestinal bowel diseases, leaky gut, the list goes on and on. But these people go, oh, you need to just deal with it. No, these people that have these issues, these imbalances in their gut biome, it's not something they can control. It's not something they can just get up the next morning and say, I need to deal with this. It's an actual emotional upsetting. And by cleaning up their gut, most likely will clean up some of these anxiety and depressive disorders. In the last 2 months, I have known of or have had family and friends who have lost people they love very dearly to suicide. And since the COVID lockdown and isolation, suicides have actually risen by enormous amounts. As a matter of fact, the New York Times reported that 100 suicides took place between October 24th to the end of the year 2020. That's 100 deaths in 68 days. I totally believe that it might be higher, but this is what they reported. And according to JAMA, the Journal of American Medical Association, they report that it's possible that the 24/7 news coverage of these unprecedented events could serve as an additional stressor, especially for individuals with perplexing mental problems. Our routines have been completely upended, and even things like wearing a mask or waiting in the lines at the grocery store can make you feel a little bit tense. And this is true. We've experienced all of these things throughout the last year. Some of the common signs of a pandemic-induced stress might be fear and worry about your own health as well as the health of those that you care and love very deeply. Changes in sleep patterns or eating patterns, difficulty sleeping, staying asleep, or even concentrating, worsening of chronic health problems, worsening of mental health conditions, and an increased use of alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs. This is real stuff, friends. This is real. These things are taking place, and we can change it. It's as simple as changing our diet. Believe it or not, that's really all it is. I know there's more stuff out there. You say, but I have this going on. Oh, but I have that going on. Seriously? Think about it just for a minute. Take the challenge, and I will challenge you later. Make a lifestyle change. Now, I want to go on because I want to express some information in regards to a very real and happening brain-gut connection that we see in our elderly friends and family, and that's dementia. It's kind of on the rise. You hear about it all the time. And we've been conditioned and brainwashed into thinking that this is a natural aging disease. It's not. It really isn't. It's a gut issue. There's never been anything to ever say that it was a natural aging disease. But there are people out there that make a lot of money with people who deal with dementia and Alzheimer's and things like that. Now, Alzheimer's is one of the most common type of dementia, and there are 4 different types. There's a vascular type related to strokes or blood flow to the brain. There's something called Lewy body, which is where you see the imbalances in the body and memory loss. A frontotemporal type, which is changes in the behavior and personality. And then there's a mixed dementia type, which is a combination of the memory and vascular. Now, I want you to understand that I am nothing more than a doctor of naturopathy. I do not diagnose, I do not cure illness or disease. Yet I will tell you that dementia of all types can be done away with just by living a lifestyle that reflects proper, healthy, nutritious eating habits. Of course, you've got to do a little bit of movement as well. Now, I want you to understand something. I need you to understand, and I want you to close your eyes and visualize with me as we go from the brain to the liver. Just visualize the brain in your head, and then visualize where your liver is underneath your rib on the right side. It takes up almost across your entire body. You see, other than the brain, the liver is the most important organ in the body. Okay, I want you to understand that. I'm going to say it again. Other than the brain, the liver is the most important organ in the body. Why? Because it's in charge of the entire amino structure of the body. That means organs and glands and cells and micro this and micro that, micro everything. Everything is controlled. So if you have a headache, it goes back to the liver. It can be digestion. It can be dehydration, but it goes back to the liver. All right? Everything. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, you can go to my website at www.healthandharmony and go to, I think it's education link. Click on that and then scroll on down to some podcasts, and you'll find one that says Why America is So Ill. You see, the liver controls bile, hydrochloric acid, hormones, pH, digestion, all of that. The liver is the root cause to every health concern within the body. I'm going to say that again. The liver is the root cause to every health concern within the body. But the liver needs 6 elements to function properly, that is. It needs calcium. However, there's 250,000 different calciums. So which one do we use? We use about 6 of them. The rest of them we get out of our foods, such as vegetation. And it depends on our pH. So depending on what your pH is, will determine which calcium that you would use. We need oxygen, not just to the lungs, but we need to push that oxygen into the cells as well. We need iron, iodine, and vitamin A, and good old H2O. I use distilled water. Again, if you want to know why I use distilled water, go to my website. Again, it's at www.healthandharmony.net, and go to those podcasts and you'll find the water story. When the liver functions at par, it makes 5 to 6 billion enzymes each and every day. That's right, 5 to 6 when it's functioning at par. Okay, but this is where saliva pH comes into play, because the saliva pH indicates just how the digestive system is working or doing its job, where the urine pH tells us the final results of the digestive process. Now, I want you to visualize going and thinking about your pancreas. Whenever I say pancreas, everybody thinks, ooh, insulin. Well, that's true. But if the liver is working as it should, it sends a substance that stores sugar called glycogen over to the pancreas. So simply put, glycogen is stored glucose and carbohydrates that can be found in your muscles, your liver, as well as your brain. But when that carbohydrate energy is needed, glycogen is then converted into glucose, and it gives us energy for the digestion. So I want to take a little closer look at the pancreas, because there's an important factor to keep in mind, is that the pancreas helps in the production of 3 main enzymes. Okay, not only does the liver give us 5 to 6 billion, 3 main enzymes are protease for the protein breakdown, amylase for carbohydrate breakdown, and lipase for the breakdown in fats. Now, I want to mention that the pancreas is also in control of insulin, of course, but the alcohol levels in the bloodstream are also controlled by the pancreas, which controls body temperature. So you've heard someone that says, oh, I have cold hands and feet. And what do we think of? We think of thyroid issues right away. Well, in a sense, that is true via the pancreas, which is, and then again, if you think about it, the pancreas deals with alcohol levels, which by way that the alcohol level in the bloodstream is equal to, say, 80% rum. Okay, too much alcohol, the oxygen is there for the cells to uptake, but it's not usable because it's flooded. It's like a flooded car. Okay, too much alcohol. But then if there's not enough alcohol in the bloodstream, all right, then we are cold and our temperatures drop. All right, and the cells are not able to get oxygen because it's not available to us. So too little, too much is a problem. So the pancreas has a job to keep the alcohol levels in its right place. Again, like I said that if you had cold hands and feet, many people say, oh, that's a thyroid issue. And like I said, that is true via the pancreas. Okay. Now, I want you to understand that when the pancreas is dealing with the alcohol levels, there's a thing called thyroxine, which deals with our thyroid. But if the pancreatic juices or those enzymes are off or not being put into the body at its max, then the iodine levels are off in the body, which then interferes with the proper production of thyroxine. And this then affects the thyroid because the thyroid needs that thyroxine hormone. Okay? Now, when the thyroid's off, potassium could be off. And if the digestive systems are off, potassium levels will be off along with the saliva pH. So we've got to, so it's kind of like the wrist bones connected to the, whatever bone. So it's one of those things. It is a domino effect. I want you to also see that potassium, if the potassium's off, when the thyroid's not functioning properly, the digestive system gets off. Okay? When the digestive system's off, potassium levels will be off. And again, like I said, we can see how that works by just dealing with saliva pH, especially as a practitioner or a naturopath. Now, potassium plays a huge role in the health of the thyroid as well as vice versa. And one of the main symptoms of a low thyroid is memory and forgetfulness. Well, potassium also affects the memory and that type of recall memory, like street names or children's names. You've called out your children and you're looking right at them and you're calling them every name other than their own name. Okay, so the potassium levels can also check that. And that can take us right back to dementia as well. Because when memory's off, we have dementia issues. And it just throws the entire body off course. Off course. So I want to take a look back at what we just said because I want to do the connected twos. So the brain is connected to the gut. The thyroid is connected to the gut via the pancreas. The pancreas is connected to the gut via the liver. And the liver is connected to the gut, leading us right back to the brain. And if we look at the overall picture, it shows that other than the brain, the liver is the most important organ in the whole body. Therefore, the liver is the root cause of all physical, mental, and spiritual health concerns. And then you're saying, but you just got done telling me that there was a brain-gut connection. Yes, liver controls digestion. So it goes back to the health of the liver. Do we not work with the digestion while we're working with? Of course we work with the digestion as well as the liver. I have products that work with all of it at one time. It's so simple, so easy. Now I want to say this one thing before I start to close. We are accustomed to treating symptoms, but this does not fix the problem. It does not fix the problem. We've got to go back to the root problem. We've got to find out where the issue is. Yes, we already know that it's going to be the liver, but if we've got some other things, let's find out one of the reasons why I went through the liver is connected to the pancreas. Pancreas is dealing with body temperature, oxygen levels, things like this, is so that you can see how you need to go and think about, okay, I have this going on. Where do I go with this? We go to the liver, but what do I work with while I'm working with the liver? And that's where I come in as a naturopath, or a practitioner comes in, and they can help you with that by helping you change your lifestyle. Okay, it's crucial to find the result, the root issue, but it's going to happen through nutritional changes. It's required. Nutritional lifestyle changes are required in order to obtain complete healing. Okay, diet, and diets. I don't mean nutritional lifestyle, but diets where you restrict foods. You are also restricting essential vitamins and minerals. Diets are not allowed ever. And the other thing is water, water, water. Water is not an option. It's an essential. It's not an option. Now, so find the root cause, change the nutritional lifestyle, change your water, make sure you're drinking at least 1/2 your weight every day in water, not to exceed 100 ounces unless you are an athlete and you are working out. Okay. Other than that, you will take and you will rinse out all the minerals that you're taking in by drinking too much water, and that can cause a problem. Okay. Now, I want to just kind of tag this before I go. The nutritional changes, you probably are asking, well, what do I do? What's the best way? I follow all my clients. I have following the Kaufman plan. That is, you can find that at www.knowthecause.com. KNOW thecause.com. He deals with microtoxins and gut biome. That entire program, it's not difficult. It is where you get to eat. You cannot become healthy if you are restricting food. You get to eat real food. It's not boxed food. It's not a boxed anything. It's not prepackaged for you. You learn to eat real food. Tons and hundreds of recipes on that website, including sweet stuff like pies, muffins, things like that. Things that we don't have to go without, but we can eat them with the right type of nutrition. Changing all the whites, which are white flours, white sugar, things like that, and that's what he will help you to do. And guess what? It's free. KnowTheCause.com. Water intake as well as type. Water intake at 1/2 your weight in ounces of steam distilled water. Just plain old distilled water. And don't freak out. Go listen to the podcast, The Water Story, because I get asked all the time, well, what about my minerals? Well, our body does not deal with inorganic anything. And so we don't get our minerals from water. We get it from our food. That is one of the things that is a problem. I use something to do my supplementations that work with not only the digestive system, but also nourishes and supports the liver, as well as the nervous system, and the enteric nervous system, as well as the CNS. Okay, and that is called the Bella Health Package. And if you are interested in finding more about that, you can go to my website at www.healthandharmony.net and go to products, I believe, link, and you'll see Bella Health is my signature package that I work with. Urine and saliva analysis, find out what your pHs are. That'll help you along the way. And the way you think. If you think you're going to fail, you will. So what your mind believes and says and thinks, your body feels. Your body follows. Okay? So there you have it. These are the things that I wanted to talk about the gut health. Very simple, very quickly, not too scientifically put. I hope that you understand that, and I hope it's helpful. That was the gut brain, gut, liver connection. This is Dr. Victoria Terry with Health and Harmony. And until next time.